Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am glad to greet you in the Kremlin. Due to the complicated epidemic situation, we still have to hold this solemn ceremony of presentation of credentials in this format that we have today. Somewhat limited. I hope you can understand our situation. And of course, I would like to personally congratulate all of you on the official beginning of your diplomatic activities in the Russian Federation. I wish you success in carrying out your honorable and responsible mission of developing and strengthening the relations between the states that you represent and Russia. We are sincerely interested in making sure your work is successful and brings the practical results. Naturally, we can fully count on the support and the assistance of the Russian authorities, our ministries and agencies, as well as the favorable attitude and the constructive sentiment from our business, our political and public figures of Russia. Let me assure you that your professional activities in Russia will be filled with interesting meetings, events and contacts. And sometimes and someday we will defeat this infection and life will come back to normal. Let me express, I hope that you will have opportunities for business trips along our country to meet new people, meet the diverse nature, regions, the rich history and culture, and I hope that you will have the best impressions of your stay in Russia. Ladies and gentlemen, recently, speaking at the expanded session of the Collegium of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia, I pointed out the priorities of Russian foreign policy and gave the detailed characteristics of the current complicated international situation and the approaches to settling acute global and regional problems. We've been consistent in saying that it is only possible to counter the numerous challenges and threats through common efforts of the entire international community. We are reminded of that by the coronavirus pandemic-related situation. The treacherous infection is far from defeated, and no single country can fight against it alone. Unfortunately, in practice, we see a different situation, and the term vaccine nationalism has been coined, and unfortunately it reflects the current state of affairs not only in the commercial vaccine market, but also in the matters of providing assistance to the countries in need. I firmly believe that without combining the efforts of all states and without establishing a mutual equal cooperation, we will not manage to solve such complicated global tasks. We will not achieve success in the fight against climate change or countering terrorism or organized crime, or in maintaining sustainable development, which is why we've been consistently calling all our international partners to act in a collective and joint manner, based on the central coordinating role of the United Nations and its founding principles stated in the Charter. At the same time, we express our concern by the fact that the international community is acting in an uncoordinated manner without standing together to solve the actually relevant problems. We are also concerned by the way they're acting towards our country, Russia. Certain partners are trying to hold back our development by using sanctions pressure or even escalating the tensions along our borders. By the way, the threat at our western borders is actually on the rise, which we've been saying consistently. It is enough to take a look how close the military infrastructure of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization is approaching the Russian borders. This is more than serious for us. In this situation, we are taking the relevant, adequate military and technical measures. But let me repeat, we are not threatening others, and it would be unfair to accuse us of anything in this situation, or as we say, to shift the blame. That would be irresponsible. Speaking at the Foreign Ministry, I emphasize that our diplomacy is facing the main priority, of winning solid, long-term guarantees of security for Russia. In our dialogue with the United States and its allies, we will keep insisting on elaborating the specific agreements which would rule out any further expansion of NATO to the east, as well as the deployment of threatening weapon systems close to the territory of the Russian Federation. We suggest beginning the substantial talks on this matter. Let me note specifically that we need the legal guarantees, since our Western colleagues have failed to carry out their relevant political oral obligations. In particular, we all know of the oral statements that NATO would not expand to the east, but the reality was the other way around. In fact, the legal and lawful Russian concerns in the area of security were ignored and continue to stay ignored. We never demand any special conditions for ourselves. We understand that any agreements must definitely keep in mind the interests of Russia as well as all the states of the Euro-Atlantic region. A calm and stable situation is needed by everyone and for everyone. By saying this, let me emphasize that Russia is interested in building up constructive cooperation and in developing equal international cooperation. This remains the main priority and the foundation of Russian foreign policy, and I hope you will send this signal to the leadership of your states. Ladies and gentlemen, at today's ceremony we have the heads of 20 diplomatic missions. Per tradition, I will say a couple of words about the relations of Russia with each of the states that you represent. We are interested in developing the relations with the Slovak Republic on the principles of good neighborhood and respect of each other, keeping in mind our spiritual and cultural coherence, our common pages of the history of the fight against Nazism. Unfortunately, nowadays, the political contacts are limited. But if Slovak side is ready, we could resume to the constructive and mutually beneficial cooperation which for many years has been maintained between our states for the benefit of our people. The comprehensive strategic partnership between Russia and Vietnam embraces the political, economic, humanitarian and many other areas. During yesterday's useful and substantial talks with President Nguyen Xuan Phuc, we have reached agreements on the further expansion of the Russian-Vietnamese cooperation. The talks have confirmed that the positions of Russia and Vietnam on the current international agenda matters are quite similar or coincide completely. The President of Vietnam continues his visit, and today he is meeting the representatives of the Russian leadership, of Russian business, political and public figures, and an entire package of documents will be signed to implement large-scale joint projects, including oil and gas projects. We consider Nigeria as one of the key partners of Russia in the African continent. Relations with Nigeria are of traditionally friendly nature. We had a talk with President Buhari during this Russia-Africa summit in Sochi 2 years ago, and we hope that the Nigerian authorities would support the Russian initiative to hold a new meeting of the leaders of Russia and the African states in 2022. Speaking of the specific areas of bilateral cooperation, we see good prospects in the expansion of our dialogue on the current problems related with maintaining stability on the global hydrocarbon markets, the fight against terrorism, countering religious extremism. We hope that in our friend, the Republic of Guinea, will see the stabilization of the political life and reach national reconciliation. For many years, Russia has been a large-scale investor to the economy of Guinea. Our companies have been successfully working on mining and processing the mineral resources in Guinea. We are awaiting the implementation of new interesting projects, including those in the area of energy, infrastructure, fisheries and agriculture. We support the development of cooperation with the Federal Republic of Somalia. Your government has taken active steps to strengthen the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country, fighting against terrorism and extremism, aspiring to establish the conditions for social and economic restoration of the country. Of course, we wish you success in all these endeavors. We've been consistently developing the relations with the Republic of Ghana. We're building up cooperation in trade and energy areas, including the nuclear energy. We're working together on mining and oil and gas industry. We will continue providing professional education for various areas of the Ghanaian economy. Russia and Austria are building relations of constructive and pragmatic nature based on mutual respect and consideration of our interests. We are long-standing and solid partners in the area of trade and investment and energy. Despite the pandemic, we see increased volume of trade. Following the first 6 months of this year, it's been increased by 26.5%. Our country highly appreciates the neutral policy of Austria, as well as the respect of Vienna as a commonly recognized platform for multilateral negotiations. We see favorable conditions for expanding trade and economic links with the Republic of Mauritania, in particular in the area of sea fisheries, where we have established close cooperation. We highly appreciate the significant contribution of your country in the fight against terrorism in the Sahara-Sahel region. The year 2022 will mark the 30th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations with Tajikistan, a good neighbor and a solid ally of Russia. This year, our friends of Tajikistan have been successfully chairing the Shanghai Cooperation Organization as well as the Collective Security Treaty Organization. Our countries are closely cooperating within these organizations as well as in the Commonwealth of Independent States, coordinating our positions on the current regional problems. Keeping in mind the complicated situation in the neighboring Afghanistan, Russia provides assistance to our Tajik friends in the area of security, including through cooperation in the program of modernizing the armed forces of Tajikistan. Links of Russia with the Republic of the Union of Myanmar have been of a traditionally friendly nature. We firmly believe that through joint efforts we can continue developing our successful cooperation in the areas of economy, military and technical area, and education. We believe that the problems related with the escalated internal political and ethnical situation in the country should be settled without any external interference by the people of Myanmar themselves on the basis of political dialogue. Brazil is one of the most important strategic partners of Russia. Together we're working in the platform of BRICS and the G20, keeping in mind that in the years 2022-2023, your country will be a non-permanent member of the Security Council. We will be more active in our cooperation on the platform of the United Nations on the current issues on the global agenda. Apart from that, we will be consistently strengthening our bilateral cooperation in the areas of trade and economy, energy, science and technology, and others. We will be glad to see the President of Brazil in Russia. The friendly relations with the Republic of Angola have been tested by time. Most importantly, together with our friends from Angola, we intend to continue the development of the multifaceted, comprehensive cooperation through deepening the political dialogue, continuing our trade and investment and humanitarian cooperation. This in particular was mentioned during the recent visit of the Foreign Minister of Angola to Russia in October. The relations with the Republic of Italy are based on a solid foundation of cooperation, historical and cultural links, sincere mutual sympathies of the people of our countries. This year, Italy has been successfully chairing the G20, organizing a very resultative summit of the G20 on the topic of the fight against the pandemic, the restoration of the global economy and preservation of the climate. We've been providing comprehensive support for the Italian chairmanship. We maintain regular phone contacts with the Prime Minister, Mr. Draghi, to discuss the pressing issues on the international, regional and bilateral agendas. Let me note that this year we continue the implementation of a large-scale joint initiative in the cultural area, the Cross-Year of Museums. Next year will mark the 65th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations with Sri Lanka. We've established good contacts between the foreign ministries, ministries of defense, ministries of economy, as well as the parliaments of the two countries. By the way, on the 22nd of November, the Secretary of the Russian Security Council, Mr. Patrushev, paid a visit to Colombo. Starting from 2009, Sri Lanka has been participating in the work of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, as a dialogue partner, making a contribution to its efforts to maintain security on the Eurasian region, its sustainable social and economic growth. We're developing cooperation with the Republic of Benin. In particular, we're working on an intergovernmental agreement of military cooperation and a memorandum on understanding in the sports area. The Russian companies are showing interest to taking part in our joint projects on the territory of Benin in the area of geological surveying, energy, infrastructure. Ecuador is one of the three major foreign trade partners of Russia in Latin America. An important factor of sustainable development of the Ecuadorian economy is the stable shipment of the Russian oil and gas. Also, the agricultural produce of Ecuador is widely represented and demanded on the Russian market. Together with the President of the Republic of Ecuador, Mr. Lasso, during a phone talk in August this year, we agreed to continue promoting our bilateral links to support active political dialogue, expand the interministerial contacts, including contacts between the Prosecutor General's office and the emergency situation ministries, as well as to promote joint projects in various areas. This year has marked the 30th anniversary of the establishment of official diplomatic relations between Russia and the Republic of Panama. We intend to continue our political contacts, the trade and investment, cultural and humanitarian cooperation. Panama draws the attention of the Russian business as a large-scale logistics and finance center, opens opportunity for trade in goods, services and capital all over the Latin American region. Speaking of the Republic of El Salvador, next year we will mark the 30th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations. We enjoy friendly and equal cooperation with this country based on the traditions of mutually beneficial cooperation in various areas. We're currently ratifying an intergovernmental agreement on cooperation in the area of the fight against crime, especially organized crime. Russia assists El Salvador in developing the hydropower. We're interested in expanding our trade and economic cooperation, as well as the development of educational and professional exchanges. We attach great importance to our contacts and cooperation with Spain. We see good success in this cooperation. Next year, we will mark the 45th anniversary of the restoration of our diplomatic relations. It is worth noting that despite the pandemic, we're improving the bilateral trade volume and implementing joint projects, supporting and maintaining mutually beneficial dialogue on the political level, as well as maintaining business and cultural links. Next week, I will have a visit to India. During the talks with Prime Minister Modi, we will set forward the new large-scale initiative for continued development of the special privileged Russian-Indian relations, the Russian-Indian Strategic Partnership. This partnership brings actual mutual benefit for both states. We see good dynamics in our bilateral trade. We see active development of our links in the areas of energy, innovation, space exploration, the production of anti-COVID vaccines and medications. We maintain wide-scale cooperation in the area of defense, including cooperation through the establishment of joint industries and businesses. India is one of the respected centers of the multipolar world. We share similar foreign political philosophy and priorities. I believe that based on the solid foundation of friendship and understanding, we will keep building up the entire spectrum of the Russian-Indian links. Ladies and gentlemen, I have barely touched upon the relations of Russia with the states that you represent. I hope that with your active participation, we will manage to substantiate these relations, fill them with mutually beneficial projects, useful initiatives, and we will see the dynamic development for the benefit of our people in the interests of international security and stability. I sincerely wish you new success, good health, and all the best. I don't believe we will see each other again before the new year, which is coming very soon. So I wish you happy upcoming new year, and I thank you very much.
Благодарю вас. Всего хорошего. Успехов.